Now coming to charity. This always brings a smile on my face. You know, a lot of people I hear, they tell me, "Oh, you hear in conversation, I love doing charity. I want to do a lot of charity. So every day I pray to God, please give me lots of money so I can do charity." How often have you heard that? How often have you said that? Right? We all think like that. Yes, I thought like that. Before I met my Guru, I also thought like that. Now, when I have money, I'll do a lot of charity. You know, when you say that, you know what God hears? Do you know what the universe hears? It hears, I'm trying to make a fool of you by saying that I will do charity when you give me money. So are you the only source that the universe has to do the charity? And what is it? A bribe? That if you give me money, I'll do the charity. Oh, thank you very much. We don't need you. That's what the universe tells. It's like offering a bribe. You do my work, I'll do your work. Oh, cool. Who are you offering a bribe to? Who are you trying to fool and kid? That's not how you do charity. And that is not charity. Charity means you part with what you have now. You part from what you have now. What do you mean by saying, if I have the money, I will give it? No matter how much you'll have, you'll never give it. If that is your attitude. If that is your attitude. Today you will say, okay, if I get 10 lakhs, I'll give 2 lakhs in charity. When you get 10 lakhs, you'll say, no, but I have so many expenses. Maybe if I get 50 lakhs, I'll do charity. It'll just keep going on. So if you want to do charity, you have to do it now with what you have. Now I'll tell you the various aspects of this. What constitutes charity? Its karmic implications and how one can derive the maximum benefit. Because there is a natural benefit which accrues, whether you want it or not, that benefit comes to you. Now, as I said, charity is to be done with what you have, not with what you hope to get. So what would constitute charity in terms of your wealth? Now there are two ways you can do charity. One, you can part with a certain percentage of your wealth. Or better still, you can part with a certain percentage of your income. Many of you may not have that substantial wealth to make a difference, but you may be earning, because all of you are earning, obviously, to so live day-to-day life. You obviously earning money. Now from that, if you really want to do charity, you have to take a substantial portion and give it back to the universe. Now when I say give it back to the universe, you don't fling the notes into the air and say, okay, now take it. No, you have to see that your money is well utilized to alleviate suffering in any form. In any form. And without barriers. You cannot put up human barriers. You cannot say, okay, I will only help this section of society, this community, this caste. No. It has to be across barriers if you really want to do charity. It cannot come with strings. Yes, it can come with a rider that it is utilized well. But it should alleviate human suffering. That should be the primary goal. If you do that, and it is done effectively, yes, there is huge benefit. There is a huge payback to you, which you may or may not even notice or plan for or estimate, but it does accrue to you when you give back. You know, the first message from my Guru, first message, the first time Mahavatar Babaji contacted me, he wrote, adopt 7 orphans and look after them. You see, because at that time, I mean, I had left all my old work and everything. I was just doing my seminars, and it was kind of picking up. I wasn't making ton loads of money or something, but enough to get by. And like we normally think, oh, when I make a lot of money, I'll give something. He put down this rule from day one. He said, adopt 7 orphans. Of course, I adopted 100. That's a different thing. But the point was, from day one, his first instruction was, give back. Don't keep taking. And in unequivocal terms, he has told me, you don't worry about the finance. That is up to the universe. Your work is to give. It is the universe who will give you. You don't have to worry about that. Where will it come from? The moment you start giving significantly, and I'll tell you what significantly means, you are on the radar of the universe to give you more. But you have to give with an open heart. Now, I'll tell you how to understand that. You see, if you are, say today, earning 100,000 rupees, I'm just giving an example, and you do a charity of 500 rupees and say, oh, I am God's favorite child, I give 500 rupees in charity. Who are you kidding? You think you can make a fool of the universe? No, you can't. It has to be substantial. It has to be a significant part of your income. Yes, you'll say, but then how do I run my house? How do I pay my EMIs? How do I educate my children? Well, how did you do it 2 years back when your salary was less? You managed, didn't you? How did you do it 10 years back when you didn't have these fabulous salaries? You managed. Sure, you can manage now. But you don't want to, that's a different thing. Of course, I don't expect people to do that, but the ballpark level of charity, that is what we do in, you can say, our as spiritual teachers. The minimum you're supposed to give back to the universe is 25% of your income. 25% of your income. So you can't say, okay, income minus EMI, minus vegetables, minus rent, minus this thing, okay, now 25%. No. 25% of your gross income. That is the benchmark. But okay, you need not go to that level, but at least it should be something significant. It should be at least 10% of your income to make a difference. Believe me, if you do this on an active, continuous basis, you will find abundance flowing into your life. And I've seen it. I've asked people to do this. When they've had abundance problems, and at the lowest point, I've told them, yes, why don't you do some charity? And they're aghast because they say, I can't, I can barely feed myself and you're asking me to do charity. I said, yes, out of that one chapati, you can spare a quarter of it or a small portion of it. And believe me, their fortunes have turned. Because they've learned to give back. Giving back has a huge payback and a huge significance. Now I'll come to that. How does it work? You'll say that fine, everything is blueprinted. Then how does my giving in charity change that? Yes, surely your wealth is blueprinted. But this is a conscious decision you are making. Now, it's called the law of abundance. When you part with some portion of your wealth, which is there in your blueprint, what you're doing is you are making a little bit of space. You're cutting a little hole in that balloon of abundance that you have, a balloon of wealth that you have. You're making a little space by giving it away. There is never vacuum in nature. That space has to be filled. The universe fills it with 5 times more. Because nature does not sustain a vacuum. You're supposed to have X amount as abundance. That is your destiny. But you, with your conscious decision and your free will, have taken out a chunk. You've created space, and that space must be filled up. So the universe pushes something inside, and it pushes in much more, so your balloon gets bigger. Every time you pull out a little, you are creating space for much more to come. That is how your abundance increases. Not by saying, okay, when I get rich, I will do charity. No, you have to take out what you have now. Otherwise, how will more go into it? How will your balloon of abundance increase? That is one aspect of charity. That is one way it works. The other, the relief you bring, the happiness you bring, the sheer alleviation of somebody's misery that takes place with your portion of income or wealth, that is a huge positive karma for you. Yes, it accrues to you. It does not matter whether you have done it directly, or you have done it through an organization, or you've done it through a huge charity which is a worldwide charity. It doesn't matter. Universe accounting is perfect. It doesn't get confused. If somebody's misery has been alleviated because of your contribution, yes, you do get that full benefit. The karmic benefit. Now the karmic benefit can come immediately, because your blueprint, as I told you, is elastic. I've explained this in my book also, and that it has a boundary, but within the boundary it keeps changing shape. So as you use your free will, your attraction or depletion of wealth can change anytime. So you can get the benefit of that karma, positive karma. It can come immediately, it can come a few years later, or it may not come in this lifetime, it may come some other time. It can accrue to you, and once it's accrued to you, it is there with your soul, it's there on your DNA. It's never going to go away till you utilize it or till you use it, till it's completed. Energy cannot be destroyed. So what accrues to you will remain with you till you complete it. Then the energy is reverse, it's completed. The transaction is over. So yes, you can attract more wealth by giving some part of it away, because you made space for that wealth to come into your life. Plus the relief that somebody gets, some human being or human beings, depending on what you do, that will accrue to you. That will be your positive karma. And many of you who are enjoying good lives, abundant lives, I would say, as far as wealth is concerned, yes, you have done that kind of giving back at some stage in some lifetime. So there is a very deep significance to doing charity. Now, like some people ask, will it burn off my bad karma? Will it burn off my ancestors' karma if I do charity? Because a lot of there is some theory that if you do certain charity, your ancestors are relieved of their karma, something like that. People keep asking me this. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Karma cannot be cancelled. Your negative karma stays negative, your positive karma stays positive. There is no automatic balancing, like you have your bank passbook or bank statement where the debit and the credit is balanced off and you have a net amount. Not in the karmic passbook, not in the karmic statement. All positive karmas have to be enjoyed and all negative karmas have to be paid for and suffered. You can't cancel it off like that, like, okay, this ticks off with this. That's not how it works. But yes, if you notch up these positive karmas through charity, and when I say charity, you must be discerning where you do the charity, in the sense you must see that ultimately somebody is getting benefit from it. So because there are a lot of what do you call cheaters in the market who take money and don't really utilize it the way they promise to utilize it. So you have to be careful that you are not giving to somebody or some place or some institution that is going to misuse it. You have to have that much of take that much of care. But if you have done that, then yes, what will happen is that during the time when the negative karma payback has to be done, you will get incredible help, so that the negative workout becomes very light. And that is why people think that if you do charity, that negative karma is cancelled off. It's not. You have to go through that karma. But the point is that it becomes a whole lot easier to bear. You get a lot of help. So both things happen. Your karma is completed and yet you don't suffer too much. You don't suffer too long. This is how it happens. It's not like, okay, I kill somebody and then I make a donation of 2 kilos of gold to some temple and I'm scot-free. No, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. But the payback of your negative karma becomes easier to bear, quicker. And that is a whole lot of relief you can get from the positive karma that you've notched up by doing charity. As far as this question of family or ancestors are concerned, because many people ask me this question, that is Brahma. No, it's not that you can make a donation and your ancestors will be free of karma. Again, that is a wrong notion. I tell you why this notion is there. See, sometimes we have what is called group karma, joint karma. A lot of families have that. And that is why we at times become families on earth. Because certain souls have a certain karma to work out jointly. Or sometimes to enjoy certain things jointly. It's like wealth is also sometimes enjoyed jointly. Like one person in the family makes wealth, then his sons and their sons and they enjoy it for a couple of generations or 2-3 generations or more. Now that is what we call group karma. And yes, there is group karma, which is secondary to your individual karma, but yes, it does function, it does have a role to play. So sometimes what happens is when this group karma is left, there is a balance left in the group karma, and the person has passed away. By doing some kind of charity, the next incarnation that person gets some relief, because it's a group karma, but only in the group karma, not in the individual karma. No, individual karma has to be paid. But yes, in the working of the group karma, some relief can be given. So that is why they say, okay, like, okay, your family is under some kind of a problem for many incarnations you are having, many generations, sorry, you are having the same problem. Make a donation or do some charity or something of that sort, and you will get relief. Yes, it's possible, but only in the case of group karma. That is when it is possible. So this is largely how charity is supposed to be done. But I'll tell you the secret of charity. I'll end with that. If you want the maximum positive karmic benefit of charity, there is one key to it, one secret to it. It should be done anonymously. This is the highest return you can get on your charity. When charity is done anonymously, without your name figuring in that, that is when you will get the maximum karmic benefit of that charity. I'll tell you why. A lot of times we do some kind of charity to get fame, importance, applause. A lot of times we want to do it so that we become popular, and we get a certain gratification when people look up to us and say, oh, very generous person, very charitable. What happens is that when you get that satisfaction of that fame, of that popularity, of that adulation, you've taken the karmic benefit already. So there is very little left. Very little left. I'm not saying completely, but very little left that accrues to you. Because that satisfaction, that gratification that you get from that fame and that recognition on doing that charity, where you put up, say, your name on a building or a institution or wherever it comes in print, and people know about it and say, "Arey Baba, you've done good, such a good thing. You've donated so many thousands of rupees." Or if your name features on it and you get the gratification for it, then you've already encashed your karmic dividend. Then there's very little left to carry forward. So the best charity is done anonymous. Anonymous in the sense where you do not get the recognition for it, where you do not get the gratification of that fame of doing it. I mean, I don't say anonymously means you have to go and deposit a bundle of notes somewhere. You can give a check, but when your name is not associated with it and you do not get that recognition of fame, that is more important. That is when you get the full benefit of it. So as far as possible, try and see that if at all you do some kind of charity, see that it is done anonymously and without receiving too much fanfare for it, because then you will get the full benefit of that charity. That's the secret.